Ziosk is a privately held company headquartered in Dallas, Texas. The company is responsible for the creation of the first publicly available entertainment, ordering, and pay-at-the-table tablet in the restaurant industry. Based on its website, Ziosk is the industry leader in its segment, owning 95% of the installed market and having deployed more than 75,000 Ziosk tablets. Ziosk positions its technology as an enterprise solution which relies on a 7-inch tablet with a built-in encrypted credit card reader. Ziosk's current CEO, Austin Mullender, uses the phrase "less than free" to describe the cost of the service that they provide. This statement sums up the value proposition quite succinctly. By offering the Ziosk as a subscription-based service with no significant starting cost for clients, the initial expense of the Ziosk is paid for quickly in increased sales. During the initial stages of our industry research, our team conducted an extensive PESTEL analysis. Our two most significant considerations are social and technological. For social considerations, a significant cultural trend in the restaurant industry is the impact that social media is having on success and in some cases failure of restaurants. As of 2009, 70% of restaurants were listed on Yelp. Research demonstrates a positive correlation is found between a restaurant's revenues and its social reviews on sites such as Yelp. For technological considerations, roughly 1/4 of consumers say technology options are an important feature that factor into their decision to choose a restaurant. According to Fast Casual, consumers, especially younger generations, have come to expect certain connectivity attached to their dining experiences, be it the ability to order restaurant delivery with a smartphone app, access to Wi-Fi in their favorite coffee shop, or the ability to review menus and make reservations online. This chart outlines our current assessment of the Ziosk business model. The two most interesting areas of the business model canvas are our key partners and our value proposition. The most significant key partnership is with Microsoft. The partnership is reliant on Microsoft's powerful cloud computing platform, Azure, which enables the content management and analytic results that their strategy is reliant on. In addition to the integration of Azure for analytics and management systems, Ziosk has also partnered with Microsoft services Bing and MSIM as a means to expand premium content for its guests. Their demonstrated value proposition is summed up in the words of their CEO, "less than free." There is no significant capital investment to obtain the Ziosk service. Restaurant owners simply subscribe, and the tablet is essentially leased as a part of the service subscription. Ziosk has demonstrated immediate increased customer revenue from improved appetizer and dessert sales combined with the opening of new lines of revenue made possible by the Ziosk devices. So how do we accomplish this great transformation? The answer is by creating an agile software development team. Phases 1 through 3 on the left of this slide describe a restructuring of the current research and development model that's in use by Ziosk. Phase 1 is expected to take about 6 weeks. The primary objectives that must occur are the refinement of goals, objectives, and the overall purpose. Phase 1 will be complete when the final project charter is approved and published. Phase 2 is also expected to take about 6 weeks to complete. During this phase, we'll begin by defining what current processes are in place. Once the current processes are understood, we can begin to develop a transformation plan that will connect our current resources to the desired end state. The most significant component of this transformation will be the identification of the missing resources and a development of the acquisition plan that will enable a transformation to the desired end state. Phase 3 is the most difficult and longest phase in the transformation process. Phase 3 is essentially execution of the transformation plan, implementation of the requisition plan, and onboarding of partners and resources. During Phase 3, agile teams will be created from existing developers or hired from industry. Phase 3 will be complete when the new agile development teams are ready to begin product development. The final phase, Phase 4, never ends. The agile development teams will begin with the initial projects listed above and then continue to refine and develop upgrades to increase functionality and improve customer service. Teams will receive user stories, then quickly develop, test, and publish solutions. The agile iterative process is absolutely necessary to remain relevant in this market. Failure to innovate quickly will leave the door open to competitors. The as-is diagram on the left illustrates the current limited offerings of the Ziosk system. Though Ziosk is currently enjoying limited competition within its space, the technology it relies on is inexpensive, The required skill set for the software is plentiful, and its value proposition in reducing fraud and improving restaurants' margins is quite powerful. The company will need to continue to build upon this lead to activate the network effects which make the brand more desirable. The 2B diagram on the right illustrates our proposed user service selection after implementation of the initial projects that will be completed during the transformation. The additional information that will become available from users' smart devices will provide the company and its customers with an unprecedented analytics capability. Our proposed development of a Ziosk branded smart device application that is compatible with all major operating systems, iOS, Android, Windows Phone, will extend the current Ziosk tablet services beyond the restaurant, which is its current limited functionality. By leveraging cloud services, there are minimal upfront costs to contend with, and we get an added capability that we can easily promote Ziosk into international markets. Ziosk will extend its existing relationship with Microsoft to leverage Windows Azure cloud infrastructure and services, which is billed at a competitive pay-for-what-you-use pricing model, instead of the typical upfront capital and expenses that can burden major projects. The architecture will auto-scale to support millions of devices as the company grows. Azure also provides database services to store and capture information generated by restaurants' tablets, as well as the mobile applications. The current tablet sits on the Android operating system. Because of that, very little additional software will be required to extend the current functionality on the tablet. However, in order to move into the Windows Phone and iOS app space, Visual Studio and a subscription to iOS Developer Enterprise program will be required for each developer. This chart outlines the bill of materials for infrastructure required. There's some investment required for infrastructure to support the Ziosk app lifecycle, with development leveraging a mixture of on-premises and in the cloud, while test and production are only located in the cloud. The on-premises costs are estimated at $20,000 as a one-time cost for purchase of the hardware. The cloud solution necessary to support the large estimated growth sizing will cost about $7,000 per month based on a 24/7 utilization. This diagram maps the data architecture of the new application. First, all devices and web consoles connect to the Windows Azure cloud to execute server-hosted scripts. Second, the user is authenticated through one of multiple authority providers and matched with customer location through location service. Third, individual tasks are requested and executed against application server scripts. Then, depending on the function, the script will call API services hosted in the service bus. During the 6th and 7th steps, the data is captured in the SQL database, where results are generated to support application scripts. During the 8th step, a response is returned to the client. An example may be a notification to the client, such as, "Your table is ready." Finally, the server-side scripts execute and archive the event through BizTalk back to the Ziosk corporate for archiving and analytics. The new environment will also provide a cloud-hosted API for new partner vendor applications to interface with Ziosk. This new technology will open the door, and tables, to revolutionary interactions between customers with restaurant industry establishments. With the high degree of app usage amongst the majority of smartphone and device users, the forecasted need for training is light. A help feature will be included in both the tabletop and device extensions, but training is minimized through an informative, easy-to-use interface which does not require previous knowledge or use. For the restaurant staff, some technology training may be needed to operate the various administrative interfaces such as the reservation system, but the other features of the Ziosk and Ziosk app are quite intuitive. The existing Ziosk tablet support team for the restaurants can also provide training or help with the app and the administrative or analytics features. Total project time is expected to take 30 weeks for the current scope of work. The 3 core phases are human resource gathering, technical expert staffing, and development staffing. Phase 1 of the transformation project is the human resource gathering phase. Here, a project executive will be identified, a project manager will be assigned, and several business analysts will be hired. This phase is expected to last 6 weeks and cost about $79,000 in salaries. Phase 2 will add several technical experts to the staff from Phase 1. The purpose of this phase is to capture all of the necessary requirements and identify the skills and equipment needed to implement the solution. Combining the salaries from Phase 1 with the additional salaries for technical experts, the cost will increase to about $110,000 for Phase 2, with a combined project cost of about $189,000. Phase 3 will be the first development phase, and where development staff will be added. This staff will now include network specialists, database analysts, and software developers. The additional staff increase salaries to $268,000, with a running total of about $258,000. At the end of Phase 3, the first release will be pushed to the current Ziosk tablets. The total resource cost during this 30-week transformation is about $458,000, with an annual operating cost of about $1.2 million per year for the life of the solution. Structure A, Tier 1, shows how current revenue is derived through a subscription rate of $600 to $1,000 per location. The proposed changes include two avenues for restaurants. There will be a structure for restaurants that want to keep physical devices on each table, Structure A, and a structure for restaurants that want to utilize only customer smart devices, Structure B. The cost structure for Structure B is slightly different than Structure A in the manner that Tier 1 and 2 are much lower, but that Tier 3 and 4 scale upwards quickly. The goal is to get the restaurant on board to let them see the benefits before diving deeper into the higher package. This structure will be available for current and new restaurants. We estimate the near-term distribution between Structures A and B to be about 50%. The current Ziosk corporate marketing strategy is focused on subscribing new customers to the Ziosk tablet service. With the addition of tier-level features and Structure B's no tablet option, the barriers for new customers to subscribe to the service will be significantly reduced. In addition to reduced customer entry costs, the profit potential on a non-tablet customer is greater than the traditional tablet configuration due to significantly reduced hardware costs. By cutting customer costs by more than half, we expect that we'll be able to sign on many new customers. Once customers see the return on investment from their entry-level subscription, their propensity to upgrade service to enable additional value-producing features will be greatly increased. As more and more new customers subscribe to the service, restaurant goers will create a demand for the service, and network effects will drive market saturation. Our most likely revenue increase assumes a market penetration of 10% annually. The expected monthly revenue increase is about $405,000 with an IRR of 302% and an NPV of $10.3 million after 2 years. Our most pessimistic revenue increase assumes new market penetration at 2% annually. The expected monthly revenue increase is $239,000 with an IRR of about 205% and an NPV of $6.3 million after 2 years. Finally, our most optimistic revenue increase assumes new market penetration at 15% annually. The expected monthly revenue increase is about $447,000 with an IRR of 360% and an NPV of $12.8 million after 2 years. The total investment of $2.5 million is for the entire 2-year lifespan of the solution. However, about $1 million of it will be borne in the first 6 months. After that, equipment and salaries will level off at just under $80,000 a month. Ziosk can expect for revenue to exceed costs during month 15, and they can expect to break even on the initial investment around month 21. This transformation project is imperative to stay ahead of the competition and ensure Ziosk retains its competitive advantage. That is one of the primary reasons a program manager will be assigned to this project, to be the liaison between the project and the executive sponsors. The program manager will be responsible for monitoring the project along with the project manager for timeliness and effectiveness. These measures will be used to know how the project is performing and to facilitate the discussion if the project needs to be reviewed. The 3 key milestones that will be a primary indicator of project delay are 1. The project charter being published at week 6, 2. The Agile Transformation Plan published at week 12, and 3. Development teams fully functional at week 42. The effectiveness of the project is a bit more difficult to measure because the true benefits will not be realized until the new application functionality is implemented and in the hands of users. Until the project reaches that point, the testing cycles will be monitored closely to see how well user stories are being implemented and if stakeholders are satisfied with the results. Once we complete Phase 3, the project manager will closely monitor 3 primary effectiveness measures. 1. New market penetration above 2%. 2. App rating, feedback, and customer satisfaction. And 3. App download rates, whether they're increasing, stagnant, or decreasing. Finally, conditions to pull the plug. The three primary indicators that will trigger a reevaluation of the project by executive sponsors are 1. Net customer losses, so negative new market penetration. 2. IRR remaining below 105% for 3 consecutive months after Phase 3 is complete. And 3. Excessive transformation costs or delays. The potential for significant transformation is extensive, given just some of these examples. The question is which company or companies are best postured to enable these many revolutionary technological and social achievements into the restaurant industry. We believe Ziosk is best positioned in its space as long as they make strong investments in technology enablement and execution. Thank you for your time today. We look forward to experiencing the upcoming social and technological changes in the dining experience, and we're excited to watch Ziosk lead this technological evolution into the future.